music is the wind beneath our wings. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to In the Wind. I'm your host, Gail Lewis, and if you're anything like me, you've listened to the radio or you've listened to music online or when you're at the gym and you've heard different woodwind instruments in the background. Have you ever wondered which woodwind instrument is which? Well, I have. And today on In the Wind, we are going to take a musical journey through 4 different woodwind instruments with none other than Dr. Peter Archer. Hi, Dr. Archer.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for joining me on In the Wind. And I know that you are somewhat of a woodwind man. Yes?
Yes.
So thanks for joining me. I know that a lot of people have a lot of questions about woodwind instruments. So today I really look forward to you walking us through these 4 different instruments and telling us a little bit more about them. But first, a little bit about you. I know that you live and teach right here in Queens.
Yes. I'm band director at the Nathaniel Hawthorne Middle School, 74 in Bayside, Queens.
MS 74, shout them out. What's their team?
Well, we have basketball teams and various teams.
Do you have a mascot?
The Hawk.
Okay, the Hawks.
Yes,
oh,
the
go Hawks. All right. Dr. Peter Archer, go Hawks. Yeah. So that's great that you're a band director, middle school.
Yes.
What grades do you direct? Are there freshmen, are they all grades?
6th, 7th, and 8th. I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade band. And as band director, we're required to have knowledge on all band instruments.
Right. So that's everything from
winds and strings, for that matter.
Yeah?
Well. Yes.
Okay, so you've got a pretty great grasp. And also, Dr. Archer, you've done your doctoral work as well in music.
Yes. Music education, yes.
Yeah, where'd you go?
Boston University.
That's, I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah.
When did you receive your doctoral degree?
Last year.
Oh my gosh, you're new.
Yes,
Congratulations. I know, I'm going through it right now, so I'm right there with you.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
hang in there.
Yeah. End of my rope, or end of your woodwind instrument. Okay. So as part of your PhD, I'm just wondering, did you have to, with your dissertation, did you have to include, I guess, musicality? Is it like a traditional doctoral degree, or did you have to actually compose music?
Well, my doctorate is in music education, and for my dissertation, I did historical research.
Okay.
I wrote the history of the Aaron Copland School of Music, which is at Queens College.
Yeah.
From 1938 to 2010.
That's a pretty big chunk of history.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
Yes.
How long did that take you?
Wow.
Yeah.
7 years.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh, well, congratulations.
Thank you very
That's such an achievement. And now that you can share that knowledge and your knowledge of wind instruments with your middle school band, that's just great.
Certainly is.
Yeah. And I mean, and you are such a figure to be looked up to, in the community as well, just going through all that and mastering all of these instruments too. So let's get into the instruments. Sure. What exactly is a woodwind?
Well, the woodwind, the term implies wood, and then wind, meaning that air has to be blown through the instrument. And wood in the sense that they're made out of wood. So there are 4 primary woodwind instruments that constitutes the wind section of the orchestra.
Okay.
And we have the flute,
the
clarinet, the oboe, and the bassoon.
Okay. And it seems as if they get bigger in size.
That's correct.
Yeah, and does the sound differ as well?
That's correct. And in music, with instruments, of course, the smaller the instrument, the higher the tone, the higher the pitch. Okay. And the lower, the bigger the instrument, the lower the pitch.
So let's start with this flute. It's beautiful. Sure. What is that made of?
Well, this is a modern-day flute. It's metal. It's silver, actually, and the sound is brilliant. It's piercing.
Yeah. Very high.
High. That's correct. And the flute comes from the recorder, which is generally played this way.
Right.
But the modern-day flute we play this way. Now.
Is that the recorder that we think of, the 3rd grade recorder that a lot of us played? Is that the
Yes, certainly is the plastic, but the original recorders are the
wood.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, all right. But I'm thinking those plastic recorders a la the 2nd grade.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And that falls in the woodwind category as well.
All right.
Because they're air-blown instrument.
Okay.
So, well, I could play something for you on a flute.
Awesome.
The flute has this part. This is called the head joint.
Yes.
And on the head joint we have this piece, which is called the blowhole, and the player blows the air through the opening.
Okay. And you've pursed your lips, and then
Sure.
is that
For the higher tones, now notice there are no keys which will enable the player to play higher notes.
Okay.
So the player has to
Use your
manipulate.
actual lips.
Sure.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it's like tilting the instrument and blowing the air, keeping the aperture, the opening,
Right.
smaller, will enable the player to get the higher notes.
Oh, look at that. And then a lower note, you would
Relax the embouchure. We generally tell the students to think of a wider airstream.
okay, and that would give you a deeper note.
And on the flute, as I push down the keys, the notes will get lower.
Wow. And is there a complete range of notes on the flute? Or is it like other, like stringed instruments where there's only certain, each string is a different note? Does that carry over into woodwinds at all?
No, because no. There are different keys. So, for example, if I push this key, I can only get this note.
Right.
And it could be a lower tone or a higher tone, and so
Awesome.
on. If I push this note,
Yes.
it will be a lower tone, or I could make it a higher tone.
Okay. And are they always made of metal? Traditionally, they were made of wood. Are
That's
they
correct.
more so now made of metal?
Yes, there's some of them are nickel also.
Oh, okay.
This is silver. Yeah, and it gives it gives us a brighter sound.
Okay. Or the silver does.
Yes, silver
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
And if you were to buy, I guess, a wooden flute now, would you be able to purchase one? Are they still made?
The recorders are generally wooden, but
Okay.
you would not see a wooden. Well, there are, but not it's not made as a modern flute.
Okay.
Or we don't generally see that type in an orchestra.
Okay.
Yeah, we generally see the modern day flute.
Looking like
metallic,
this.
Yes, in
Yeah.
the orchestra.
Okay.
And also, each of the woodwind instruments have its own family of instruments. So there is a piccolo flute that unfortunately we don't have.
Yes.
But that's commonly used as well in the orchestra. And we have a bass flute which extends pretty much here, then the head joint curves actually.
Okay.
And there's an alto flute.
And with the that bass flute with the curved head,
Curved
it
head
gives you
joint.
a deeper sound, a richer sound.
Again, yes, the bigger the instrument, the lower the sound.
Okay.
You're right.
And then what other kinds of flutes?
There's the alto flute, bass flute, piccolo flute, as I've indicated before. Yes.
Awesome. And you would find all of those in a traditional orchestra?
Well, if the piece calls for a bass flute, then the player would get the bass flute.
Okay.
But the piccolo, we find a piccolo, for example, in Sergeant Stripes Forever. There's a major piccolo part there.
Yes, there is that high flute. I just assumed it was a regular flute, did
it's
not
a piccolo
know.
flute. Right.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
And I always think of the piccolo, you always think of a pickle.
Okay.
Okay, maybe not.
Piccolo means small, actually.
I don't know, in the 1980s, there was a giveaway at Burger King, and it was a pickle, and they called it the piccolo because you played it. Okay.
All right.
So moving right along from my bad childhood eating habits at fast food restaurants to the second instrument, which I'm
like the
intimately.
transition. I love it.
I love this instrument. The clarinet.
Yes.
Yay.
All right. Clarinet is another woodwind instrument.
Yes.
That is part of the woodwind section in the orchestra. Clarinet is a single reeded instrument. It uses this cane.
Right.
Wood.
Are there different materials that you would make one out of, or are they generally cane?
Different cane, bamboo, wood as well. And it's a single reed, which the player places behind the mouthpiece. This is the mouthpiece. And the reed is held with this clamp we call the ligature. Okay. Clarinets, the good quality clarinets are made out of wood. And now we find plastic clarinets.
Yeah, this is made of?
This is hard plastic,
Okay.
actually. And we generally recommend the plastic for beginners, children. And of course, the better quality instruments are wood.
The more expensive, as you
Absolutely.
decide you're going to stick with the instrument.
Sure.
Yeah,
Right.
you would purchase one, you would invest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the clarinet, there's a special key in the back of the instrument which enables the player to play higher tones.
Yes.
And unlike the flute does not have that. And you saw me tilt the head joint on the flute for the higher pitch
Okay.
notes.
That very jazzy sound.
Yeah,
from-
it's very
yeah.
warm as well. Warm.
Yeah, absolutely. Much warmer than the flute. Yeah.
Right. And you could see that here actually that the metal gives the flute a higher pitch and brighter.
Yeah.
sound. And even with the reed. By the way, I just wanted to point out that the reed is when it's placed behind the mouthpiece because there's a hollow, an opening behind the mouthpiece, and when the reed is clamped onto the mouthpiece, there's a space which, when the air goes through the space, it allows the reed to vibrate, and that's how we get the sound.
Yeah.
And actually, I could even play without the mouthpiece on the instrument.
And you can
The
still
reed's
make
actually
music.
fluttering, it's vibrating.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
great.
But now I will show you what happens when I push the.
Yes.
This is called the a register key, right? And
You can hear the
yes, see
difference.
the difference.
Yeah. There's that deeper sound, that richer sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, when I cover the whole, it allows me to play the lower notes.
Yes.
Okay.
Very nice
Yeah.
sound out of there.
And again, there is a family of clarinets.
Yes.
There's a bass clarinet. I guess it's about this tall,
Oh,
and
wow.
it curves.
Yes.
We have a contrabass clarinet, which extends probably maybe about, I would say 5 feet or 4 feet high. And
Where
there's
would you find that? In a regular orchestra or?
generally speaking, in the wind band, in the wind
Okay.
ensemble.
All right.
But you would find the E-flat clarinet in the orchestra as well. E-flat is just a much smaller clarinet.
Yes.
And we have this an alto clarinet as well. So again, each wind instrument has its own family
Yeah.
of instruments.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. However, the oboe, this is the oboe. It's much thinner, you
Yeah.
can see. But the major difference is that the oboe is what we term double reed. The oboe is a double reeded instrument. And what that means is that the reed itself, the reed is made out of 2 cane
Right.
put together, held with a wire into a tube, and that's a mouthpiece.
Ah, and then that's what's on the end right there.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You see?
That's exciting.
And the 2 reeds, there's a hollowness, there's an opening.
Right in between, right?
That's correct. And then when the player blows the air through the reed, it vibrates.
Ah.
It sounds like a duck, right?
Right, it does. That's amazing that this in itself, just the reed, makes music.
Yes.
Yeah, it makes a
And that's
sound.
because of the vibration.
Right.
Right, the bees are vibrating when air is blown through the reeds.
And then do you have to prep that at all before you put it in
Sure.
there?
Yes. Since the reed is made out of wood, and to get the best possible sound, the player generally will soak the reed for a few minutes in water, and so that we could get a good vibration.
Right. And then you put it on.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the oboe, and I'll play a little something.
Now this, the oboe, in comparison to the clarinet,
Yes.
sounds a lot more duck-like, for lack
Yes.
of a better word. It sounds more squeaky, it just a little bit more flat, I guess. Yeah.
In the
Is
orchestra-
that its place, I guess?
Well, a composer we use the oboe in the orchestra for different reasons, different tone color to bring out certain tone color, and the oboe also is the instrument which would tune the orchestra.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
He or she would play what we term a concert A, and then all the instruments would tune to the oboe.
So very important.
Yes.
And so is the fingering on the oboe similar to the fingering on a clarinet?
Somewhat. No, somewhat. Well, we know, for example, that this is what we call this note G.
Yes.
And when I push a register key on the clarinet, it will be a high G as well.
Okay. Is there a register key on here?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Here
there
it is right here.
is.
Yes.
All right.
So if I play.
You can hear the difference
Yes,
but
absolutely.
when you're hitting that register key. It sounds more duck-like. For lack of that better word, yes. And these are generally made of, a good one would be in wood.
Yes.
Any particular type of wood?
Well, I guess the thicker the wood, I guess, would give the player a warm, deeper sound, a beautiful, warm sound. You know?
And
but the plastic ones, again, as I indicated before, are for beginners and they're less expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so that's our third instrument.
Yes.
And then this beast in the back here,
Yes.
just beautiful bassoon.
Yes. This is
All
the
right.
bassoon. The bassoon is also a double-reeded instrument. And you can see that the mouthpiece, again, two pieces of cane held together with a wire
Right.
into a hollow tube.
You can really see, is this one bigger than the one that you would use for the oboe?
This is the reed for the
Right, so
oboe,
it is bigger.
and
Yeah,
here's
significantly.
Sure. Again, the bigger the instrument. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we would not use an oboe reed for the bassoon.
Okay.
Okay.
You can really see the opening in this one where it was difficult to see in the last reed.
Okay. Yes.
So with this, as with the other reed, you would dip it in water before you use it.
As I've done.
And it can
It's a
already
deeper
make
sound.
that noise. That's
Sure.
great, yeah.
Again, the reeds are vibrating. I'm blowing the air through the aperture.
Right, the opening.
That's correct. And then both reeds are flapping.
Yeah,
They're
you're
vibrating.
hearing it. Yeah, that's great. And that one also sounds a little ducky, I
Sure.
guess. Yeah,
Yes.
a little off.
Yes.
If you want to get your parents' attention, play it at a minor chord.
That's one way. So this is the largest instrument
In the wood
wind section of
family.
the orchestra. Yes, and the bassoon is a bass instrument. And its brother, if you will, is the contrabassoon, which is much larger than this. Contrabassoon,
Okay.
that's correct. So again, this is a more of a bass sounding instrument.
Right.
So we'll try to get some sound.
All right. And you would actually, I guess, clip it on to play it. You wouldn't just play it without a holder or a clip around you?
Oh, the neck strap? Yes, there's other types of strap where the player would sit on the strap, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Or it could go around the neck, or...
Or I guess cross body, would you do?
Yes, this way, actually. The player plays this way on the side. Okay, so we're going to play something for you, so our listeners can have an idea of what this sounds like.
Yeah, this is great.
Let's see.
This is great. This sounds more tuba-like, I guess, in comparison to the other
It is a
woodwinds.
lower pitched
Yeah.
instrument, certainly.
And a good one, again, made of wood. This is
hard plastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are the different parts on this?
Sure. Well, this is the upper part. This is called a bocal. This hook. Right.
And
You
that's
see-
actually where you put the reed.
That's correct.
to
the
blow.
bocal. Yes. It houses the reed. Okay. And then it does come apart. In fact, I'll take it apart for you so you can see
Okay,
the.
and that was cork on the end of there.
That's correct. This cork, yeah, most of these instruments, women instruments, the clarinet, the oboe, they have the cork enables the pieces to stay onto the instrument.
Right, and I guess allows vibration, or?
Actually, no. It just, the function, the purpose of the cork is just to hold the pieces. This is the bell, the clarinet, and here's the cork. If this is not there, this would fall off.
Yeah.
So that's
holds it in place.
That's correct. Yeah, and see, and there's more cork here from the clarinet.
Right in there.
All right, this cork holds the upper part to the lower part of the clarinet.
Awesome.
And so on. And we have the upper, here we have this is called the barrel. And the barrel is held with the cork of the upper part of the clarinet.
Awesome.
And so on. And then we have cork on the mouthpiece itself. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Lots of cork.
Yes.
Lots of old wine bottles being reused.
Yeah, and the same for the oboe as well, and the bassoon, of course. There's cork right here. There it is.
And this is the upper, what's this part
yes,
called?
this is sort of like a bell, actually. And you can see the bell part of the of the clarinet. But yes, there are corks throughout all of the joints, all of the pieces.
Just to hold everything together.
That's correct. Yeah. Correct.
And the fingering on this?
Yes. Well, again, when I played my little piece, masterpiece, again, as I cover the holes on, and this is true on every wind instrument, the notes will get lower, deeper. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. That's a bassoon.
That is something. And you would find a bassoon in every orchestra?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's generally two bassoonists.
Really?
Again, it all depends on what the piece calls for. Some of them, there are pieces for 4 bassoon and a contrabassoon as well.
Okay.
Yes.
And how long have you been, I know that you've been, how long have you just been playing, I guess? I know that you have other instruments that are your first loves. Yes. When did you first start playing?
My specialty is brass, actually.
Yes.
I'm a trumpet player, the trumpet. And when I got into teaching, I was required to have general knowledge on all the band instruments.
Right, absolutely.
So I learned the fingerings and just playing all of the wind instruments, the strings in college. And there are courses that are required. There are classes that are required for your music education degree.
Yeah. Okay, so you have to show some mastery, I guess, of different instruments.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, to receive your license.
Yeah. But if you take us back to when you were a child, when did you start playing, I guess, the trumpet or?
Trumpet, yes, in 7th grade, actually.
Was that your first instrument?
Yes.
Oh, wow,
yes,
7th grade.
Yes.
Okay, how'd you get into that? Was it just part of middle school, or?
It was in middle school, and actually, when I was in 4th grade, and as you remember, I don't know if you remember, back in the 70s and 60s, the music was quite extensive in the public schools. But I remember in 4th grade, I heard the band playing in the auditorium. I was so fascinated.
Really?
Yeah. So, but it wasn't until I got into middle school that I signed up for band, and I picked up the trumpet.
And that was just the one that you gravitated to?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And you just stuck with it?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. But it's great that you were able to just walk us through these 4 woodwind instruments, because I think, in the band, or in orchestra, you look at, the strings. They're just so beautiful, the way that they move in tandem and in conjunction with each other. And I think a lot of times the poor woodwind section sits over there, and people don't give it the love that it deserves. So thank you so much for walking us through them.
Yeah.
If people want more information from you about woodwinds, where can they contact you?
Oh, at Music Brass. Music Brass 253 at AOL.com.
Music Brass 253
at AOL.com.
And they can email you there and ask you
Sure.
all of their questions about woodwind instruments, which reed goes with what,
Sure.
et cetera, et cetera. Okay, can you play us something? Would you mind?
Sure.
Okay. Dr. Peter Archer on the flute. Dr. Peter Archer, thank you. That is wonderful.
Yeah.
Since you do teach middle school, if a parent came to you and said, I really want my child to play a woodwind instrument, what would you suggest they start with?
In my school, when I started the band from the beginning, I would demonstrate all the instruments and give them a choice.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Now the flute is the hardest of the four.
Why is that?
There's no reed.
Okay, it's more difficult
Yes.
just to make a sound.
That's correct.
Yeah, I can remember that in middle school myself, just trying to make a sound and being very unsuccessful.
Right.
But
So
someone who is a success is definitely Dr. Peter Archer. And he is from MS-74 in Bayside and also a Queens resident. Thank you so much for sharing and for taking us through the woodwinds. And we look forward to seeing you again real soon, sir.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching In the Wind. I'm Gail Lewis, your host. You can always find me, gail-lewis.com. Look for me online. And thanks so much for watching. Dr. Peter Archer, play us out.